What's up? We got Arrow, Season 6, Episode 6, Promises Kept. So this episode starts off with Slade and his son, with Slade confronting his son, and Slade confronting his son about what's going on. He's like, "Really, you're a jackal?" And he's like, "Yeah." So he's like, "Hey, there would no person I would rather be than you, son." So then in Star City, we see Team Arrow. We see Team Arrow defeating some bad guys. Oh, here's my remote. It's still doing the same thing, but I don't know. Here's my remote. But anyway, they decide to defeat the bad. Yeah. So they almost defeat the bad guy. So, but Diggle is still dealing with his hand tremor. But back with Team Air. But they are like, "Hey, what's going on?" And he's like, they keep calling themselves there's a new drug lord in town who calls themselves the Dragon. And Felicity's like, "The Dragon? Yeah, that's colorful." She's still the best character, isn't she? Who forget about Season 4 Felicity? Season 5 to 6 Felicity is the best character. So meanwhile, back with Slade and his son. Slade and his son are hanging out. They're drinking some Australian rum, and we even get some flashbacks on Slade post-Leanne knew Slade when he was injected with the Mercuru and lost his eye in the hospital. But yeah, so they say, so Oliver's like, "Slade, you're in over head," and he's like, "Just go home, kid." And he's like, "No, I'm not going home without you, bro. We a bromance, man. We a Slade Oliver bromance." So they decide to. So yeah, but yeah, so he decides to team up with his son to stop some Argus bad guy, stop some bad guys, and they blow up their car. And Slade it feels so good being Deathstroke. And meanwhile, Diggle is still dealing with the hand tremor of and the guy that he goes to won't give him any more. Is out for the week. So what does Diggle decide to do? He decides to go to give his hand tremor to the new bad guy in town, Ricardo Diaz, or as he likes to be called, the Dragon. Yeah, he's the Dragon, and he's the guy Diggle's giving hand things to. Oh, show you are. So yes. So meanwhile, I was saying Oliver's like, "Hey Slade, he's like, you're nothing like," he's like, "your son is even," he's like, "my son is an even worse version of him." So even worse version of him. So Oliver decides to do some sneaking around. While Slade's on a mission, Oliver decides to sneak around, and that's where he gets kidnapped by Slade's guys, of course. And he's like, "Ooh, isn't it Oliver Queen? I have some payback for you." And he's like, "What? Remember what you said about Joe? What about William?" And he's like, "She has a son. I'm gonna go after him." But then Slade lets Oliver go, and they get into a fight. And even Joe's like, "Wait a minute." Kane's like, "Wait a minute, what? I thought you and Oliver were enemies. What happened?" And he's like, "Oh, I thought Oliver, you forgave Oliver Queen. Why?" And he's like, "Because he forgave me for far worse." Fight time, fight time. They can do a big fight, but then that's when Oliver Slade about to destroy Slade's about to just do something to his son. But that's when King reveals that Slade has a son named Grant Wilson. And if you don't know who Grant Wilson is, he's the guy that we've seen before in season 1, episode 6 of Legend of Tomorrow. Wait, I think it was episode 6 of Legend of Tomorrow. And he's like, "Yeah, dude, you're not his dad anymore." So he's like, "Leave," and gets out there to appear in probably more seasons. So Slade's like, "Hey, Oliver," he was about to kill him, but then he realized that he was about to do something to him. But then when he mentioned William, he revealed that his son is like him. His son turned into an even worse version of him. Well, meanwhile, back with Team Arrow, Team Arrow has confirmed with Ricardo Diaz, where Ricardo Diaz's gang and him are just riding off. Diggle pauses for a moment, but then Renee's like, "Dude, what's up with the pause?" So he eventually tells Lila that about the tremor, and she's like, "Wait a minute, what? After everything you've told me for doing with Argus, you go and pull this?" Yeah. So he decides to tell the team minus Felicity, because by the time he told the team, Oliver came back from Russia, came back from wherever he came from. So she decided to tell him that Oliver came home. So she doesn't get to be there when he tells the team about the tremor. And Curtis is like, "Oh yeah, he built a spine. He built Felicity a spine to make her walk again, people." And then Diana's like, "Curtis is right, Diggle. Curtis is a genius. He built something so a girl could walk again." So, and he's like, "I'm sorry, Renee. If it wasn't for me, if I told you about the tremor a long time ago, my season 1 episode 6, season 6 episode 1, they would have been he wouldn't have been shot and in the hospital." He wouldn't have been shot and in the hospital. So, in the hospital. So, yeah, that kind of is where the episode kind of comes to an end, because now with everything, and this is also counts as Slade's last appearance in the show, because Slade's like, "Oliver, whenever you need him, just call him," but guess what? He's never going to need Slade again, because Slade's never going to show up again. It's Slade's last episode, which is kind of sad. I like Slade. I know why they don't, why Manu Bennett didn't want to be on the show anymore, because he was mad at the people of Arrow for basically just sidelining him until season 5. Finale, when they could have done things for him back in season 4. So he was just like, he's done playing Slade Wilson. So this is his last ever appearance in Arrow. And is it a good one? I don't think so. Like Slade is a good character. He had a good long journey from being a normal guy to being a villain to forgiving Oliver to now. But his arc kind of ends pretty boringly. If you guys can not agree with me and say Slade had a better, arc back, like like back in like season 5 when he befriended Oliver, when he forgave Oliver, and like it was cool to see him. It was cool to see Slade for one last time, but his whole son arc was kind of boring because it didn't lead to anything. Like he and his son don't even like don't even like forgive each other. Like if it ended with him forgiving him, like okay, but it just ends with him saying he's not his dad anymore, and then just tells him to leave. Like that's just how you're gonna end your character. And then just like, hey, if you never need him, just call him again. But since we never see Slade again after this point, it's just pointless to have him even say that. If he's like, hey, if you ever need him, we do see him one final time in season 8, episode 10, but that's not even Slade. That's just a deleted scene from season 2, episode 20. So this counts as Slade's final appearance in the show. And I kind of feel bad because I kind of like Slade. I like his character. His character was cool. But to know that this is the last time we're ever going to see him on the show makes it bittersweet. Because I like Slade. But for a character, I think Slade had it better in season 2 as the main villain. Because the writers kind of sidelined him as a character. And he was just there to just be there. He didn't have any interesting stories because the writers sidelined him for so long. Like he last appeared in his main appearance before season 5 was season 3, episode 15. And that's why he was mad with the writers about, because they basically made him wait a whole season after season 2 to introduce him again. And then they didn't, and then after season 4, they waited until the end of the season to bring him back. I understand why an actor would be bad. Like, your character is so beloved by the fans, you just sidelined his character. I understand why Manu Bennett was mad at the writers of the show. Because you just sidelined the best character of all time. Slade is one of my favorite characters. He was a very good villain. He was just a nice normal guy until Maricruz made him go insane and made him want to destroy it. And losing Shadow, plus with the Maricruz in him, made him go crazy and want to kill Oliver because he felt Oliver owed him a revenge promise. But then after season 3, they kind of just had the Maricruz wear off screen. Like, that's how bad it went for Manu Bennett as a character. Like, we could have had it so, Slade, went like that, where he went bad, but then the Maricruz wore off, so we see it. But he just tells us in season 5, episode 22, 23, that it's just gone. Like, it's gone, and he started freaking his mom. Like, we could have saw it. Like, that's why I think Slade was kind of wasted after season 2. Because he made one appearance in season 3, and then he was just gone. So, this is me remembering what a great character Slade Wilson Witt is. Because he had 2 episodes to himself. Those 2 episodes were his final arcs. And they were kind of lackluster. They were still good. I really enjoyed Deathstroke Returns. But Promise Kept really didn't do anything for me as a person to develop Slade as a character. Like, he did the whole, he's pretending to be evil, but he's really not evil thing again, like he did in season 5. It's just kind of boring. Like, Slade's like, ooh, he's evil, but he's not really evil. He's working with Oliver, but he has to pretend to be evil for his son. It's just kind of boring. I'm sorry, Slade. You're a really good character, but you ended your run on a boring note. But anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you have a Deathstroke day, because Deathstroke is the best character. They just really ended his character on a boring note, because this episode is really good, but for the ending of Slade, it's really boring, because he just doesn't have think of Walt and Jesse from Breaking Bad. They had a perfect ending where they basically knew they wouldn't know if it would be the last time they saw each other, which it would be, but it was perfect. Slade and Oliver, they just have I'll see you again, even though the writers will never bring back into the show type of thing. I don't know if Miniman knew this would be his last time as Slade for the character, and that's why he said he didn't know, and that's why he said he'll see him next time he calls him. But it's just like Will and Jesse had a better ending than Slade and Oliver. The bromance is over. See ya.